This time of year, holiday parties begin. And if you're an introvert like me, you might already be dreading yours. You'd rather be anywhere else. But your boss will be there, and you want to look like a team player. So you go. It feels like a night you might simply have to try to survive, unless you learn to talk like a therapist. My wife is studying to become a psychotherapist at a world class institution, the kind that produces people who can build trust with total strangers in minutes. These are people who can make you feel safe enough to share your deepest secrets. And last week, they had a Christmas party. And something surprising happened. Before this program, my wife worked in big tech. And she climbed her way to staff data scientist. And over the years, she went to more work holiday parties than she can count. And every year, she shared the same thoughts that I had in my holiday parties. They just feel forced, performative, surface level. Like everyone's having small talk, but no one's actually truly talking, right? No one's connecting. But this party with her classmates was different. Like when she came home, she said it felt like everyone was genuinely seeing each other. And, I was skeptical. I was like, isn't that just because they're your classmates? Like they're not coworkers, right? But she was like, no, John, I don't know how to describe it. Everyone just felt present. Like no one was trying to look important. Nobody was stuck in their head. And then she added, kind of like an afterthought, maybe that's what we've been learning, how to get out of our own way so the other person can show up. And that line hit me because it explains something that I've always felt myself. So many of us try so hard at work and in life to be interesting, but true connection comes from being interested. Or, as the great philosopher Eminem once said, you have to learn to lose yourself. After I chatted with my wife, I went on a research binge. Like, I really wanted to understand how therapists can create connection so quickly. So, I went through her notes in detail and I came out with a science based, simple 5 step playbook that you can use at your next office party. So, we're going to start with the first step, which is observation. The idea here is that every true connection starts with the concept of decentering yourself. That's a fancy way of saying you just get out of your own head. Remove your inner thoughts so the focus is on the other person, not on how you look. It's not a performance. And the easiest way to decenter yourself is to simply make an observation because it forces you to focus on the other person. So, 3 simple steps you can do to start observing more. First, just focus on noticing one thing. Train yourself to be present and focus on the details in front of you. It is a skill. Second, make your observation. Simply say what you notice, gently, without pressure, without judgment, just factually. It's a verbal wave, basically, that says, hey, I noticed you. And then you notice if the other person waves back, if they respond to you. Like if they pick up your observation and reply, then you're in business. But if not, that's also no problem, right? Not everybody wants to connect, and that's also okay. So, for example, if you're trying to break the ice, you see a coworker who's holding a bright blue drink, you could walk over and say, that's such an interesting color. I'm going to be wrong here, but I'm guessing that's a blue margarita. All right, now we're on to step 2, which is the reflection. The idea here is that if they respond, then you just want to replay back what they tell you, show them that you heard them. So simply just paraphrase what they said and add a small personal reaction if you want. So they might respond to you by saying, oh, actually, it's a blue lagoon. I just asked for a new recommendation from the bartender. And you would say, oh, a blue lagoon. That's definitely new to me. It sounds like you got what you asked for, right? So simply acknowledging what they say and repeating it. Now, step 3 is the validation. Validation is the act of recognizing and normalizing someone's feelings. If you're like me, you might be wondering, well, why do I need to validate an emotion at all? Because emotions are the real message behind everything we say. People talk with words, but conversations run on emotion. It might be just a flicker of the eye downward or a waver in the voice, any small clue into what they're feeling. In this example, maybe it's the slight embarrassment they feel for being indecisive, or maybe it's adventurousness for trying something new, or even just indifference, like, I don't care what I get. To use this, incorporate phrases like, it makes sense to feel, or I can totally relate, or it's understandable that. So let's say your coworker responds to you by saying, yeah, I just don't drink often. So when I do, I might as well go all out, right? Haha. So you can say, I can totally relate. Yeah. If you're going to try something new, you might as well make it really new. Go all for the experience. Step 4 is the open question. Now the ice is broken, right? You've had a back and forth. You've made an observation. They've responded. You've addressed some of their underlying emotion here. To go deeper, now is the time to ask open-ended questions, not yes or no ones. I think we all understand the concept here, but sometimes in conversations, it's just hard to do, right? What if you don't know what open-ended questions to ask? Well, a powerful tip that works really well for me is to ask for the best. The idea here is simple. Just ask about the most extremely positive aspect of whatever they're sharing. Why not extremely negative? Because we're not here to compare how terrible life is, right? Usually the positive discussions will result in a better conversation. So, for example, if they share that they don't drink, then you could ask for the best by replying, so what's the best part of having an alcohol-free lifestyle? Or, what's your favorite go-to non-alcoholic drink? To use this in conversation, as you can see, you're going to ask them questions focused on the why and the how. You can use phrases like, how about you, as well. Like, after they ask you a question, an easy way to encourage them to share more is to just return the question. Oftentimes, people ask you questions because they have an answer to that same question that they want to share. So help them share it. For example, you could say, so what do you do here and how are you liking it? 2 open-ended questions. Final step is what they call Strength ID. Strength ID is a tactic used by crisis professionals to build close connections quickly. It's the act of identifying a positive personal quality that you notice in the person. In other words, it's just good old-fashioned praise, right? But the difference between praise and flattery is that praise is a genuine observation that says, I see you. So to use it, simply pair another observation you have with an effect. Observation plus effect. For example, when you ask, what do you do here? They might reply, I work in accounting, and usually it's fine, but during month end, I have to push through some rough nights. So by applying observation and effect, you might say, well, that shows how reliable you are. Observation. No wonder you're trusted with month end. Effect. In summary, this holiday season, I hope you don't walk into the party worrying, will people find me interesting? Instead, walk in with a different mission. Be interested, notice others, and lose yourself. All right, it's time for another melon break. It's time to 吃瓜. And this week's melon break is all about Spotify Wrapped. Wrapped 2025 is here and everyone's talking about it. This year, it's basically a full-on personality quiz plus a digital scrapbook. If you haven't seen your friends flexing their musical taste on social media yet, well, you have the chance to be the first one. This year, you still get the classics from previous years, like the total time you listened, top songs, artists, genres, and those nice little video thank yous from your favorite musicians. But the new features are where the fun really is. This year, they've introduced listening age, like how old your music taste is. Mine turns out to be 22. It shows clubs that you belong to. This is your music tribe, like the style of music that you listen to. So my club was Cloud State Society, which is apparently relaxed and chill. It also features a top artist sprint where you get to watch the top artists that you listen to this year race from January 1st to today. And fun fact about mine, my top artist was Teddy Swims. An AI powered listening archive is another new feature which captures your core memory music days. And finally, perhaps the most talked about addition is Wrapped Party, which is where you and up to 9 friends compare stats and get silly awards like Hopeless Romantic or Dinner Table Explainer. It's just fun times with friends, but it's also viral marketing for Spotify and a deeper understanding of yourself, all wrapped up into one. And perhaps that's why people love theirs. So I hope this year you will fully enjoy yours as well. Here's how you can bring this up naturally during small talk. With coworkers, you might say, hey, Spotify Wrapped just dropped. Have you checked out yours yet? How do you like the new features and which one's your favorite? Or with your boss, if you want it to be a bit more professional, you could say, Spotify Wrapped this year is another fun step up from last year. The new features are a clever way of visualizing habits. It's interesting how these recap tools turn data into a little story, as well as a viral marketing machine for Spotify. Day Up is written, produced, and hosted with love by me, Jonathan Lee. If you want to support high-quality, free podcasting for Chinese professionals, please like and review this podcast. It would mean so much to hear from you. That's all for today. 下次再见，职场小伙伴们。